Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our next episode of Realm Watch for Return of Reckoning. Hello there. Everyone who's just joining or lurking in chat. It is I, Hazmi, Return of Reckoning Community Management, who will be the host of tonight's Realm Watch as well, like we did the last time. And I will be accompanied with another very familiar voice later on, and we'll be casting another 24 versus 24 guild versus guild action with Realm Watch, though there is a twist to tonight's episode about it. But let's change the screen, shall we? Welcome everyone, and let us join over here. Hello there, Uchoo. Everyone, it is Uchoo again, helping us with commentating. How are you doing, Uchoo?
I'm doing quite well. I'm missing a little bit of ranked to cover this, but I'm happy to be of service to the community.
Well, I hope it is a worthy sacrifice, and you don't mind. Thank you very much.
Not one bit.
Thank you very much for being here. Now, before we go into it, one thing is very special about tonight's Guild versus Guild, and it is that this time it is an 18 versus 18 match and not 24 versus 24 like we did last time. I'm not exactly sure it's because they couldn't find enough people for both sides or because this was organized like this. But either way, this is 18 versus 18. And maybe, Uchoo, you can tell us something about it on what's going to be different tonight in tonight's Realm Watch with a smaller warband on each side.
The dynamic of 18v18 is a little bit different. It's what you would think it would be is a little bit different than it is in practice. In practice, it's kind of people just kind of die easier because you have two less healers to kind of cross heal. There's a lot less cross support going on from both tanks and healers. So likely what we'll see is both sides staying pretty bald and doing a lot of heavy AoE, and maybe we'll see like 6-man split off a little bit to go chase after some healers, but it's mostly going to be pretty centralized, I think.
It sounds very exciting. So from your description, this fight might be very different looking than the last one, and it's going to be even more exciting perhaps because of the smaller scale.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see people straying quite as much as we did last time. You won't see like an entire 6-man group sitting on one side controlling a flank. It's going to be pretty centralized and probably pretty brutal.
Awesome. And brutal we like. That's why we're in Warhammer. Now, before we go in, a quick introduction that we got from the organizer. Once again, Joppy community member, thank you very much. Tonight, the 18 versus 18 guild fight is between Retribution and Crimson Earth versus NGE Dissolution and community member Hella's team. If you can maybe say a few words about them. I think Crimson Earth and Hella from FMJ, right? They weren't here last time, and that's going to be a little bit different. Maybe if you can introduce them really briefly and the teams.
Nash is a pretty well-known member of the community. He's French, and he has his own little 6-man guild, and they're fairly competitive. FMJ is pretty well-known. Actually, last time I'm not sure if Hella was there last time, but we did have Brogan and Scourge last time, the well-known DPS from the FMJ team, and I think that's likely what we'll see from them today. Here's Brogan, and I'm not sure what the other DPS is for the FMJ team.
I see. And just like last time, to help the viewing experience, we're going to be marking people once again on both sides. On destruction side, it is with now the current pronunciation, Yui the Marauder from NGE.
Yes, Yui. My apologies, Yui, by the way.
Then another familiar name, not Clue from Dissolution, is here. And was Brogan here last time? Excuse me, I don't remember. But the third destruction main assist we are marking is Brogan from FMJ. On order side, it's also familiar names, and we don't have 3 marks, and we should probably do that. Since Retribution is here, they are also bringing a familiar composition with Nutbiter on the White Lion. Rathra going to be a main assist on his Slayer, and we should definitely mark a third person, but I don't know if the whole team is here. Now I can see...
I'm actually not sure what Nash is playing. I'm not sure if Viseria, the Witch Hunter, is Nash or if he's playing on White Lion, but it will be Viseria, the Witch Hunter, will be the guy you're tracking.
I see. I just found them. And yeah, we got wrong... we got wrong information, so excuse us. It is
Oh, here's
Crimson
Nash right
Heart.
here.
Who should I mark then?
We'll just say Nash because it's his team. You should mark Nash.
Okay. Which character is Nash playing?
He's on the White Lion. He's right in the back here next to the White Lion pet.
Oh, I see. He's moving around a lot. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
And marks. Then we have the 3-3 marks for both sides. So hopefully that's going to help us. If the marks disappear, excuse me. Unfortunately, that's just the add-on limitations, but hopefully we'll be able to remark them. And it seems the teams might be waiting for us, Uchoo. I don't know how you feel about it. We're just delaying this event for them. So,
Waiting for us? What do you mean?
yeah, I feel like they're waiting for us, babbling here and marking people. So if they do, then I think we are ready. And during the fight, we can always explain more things or between the fights. Because there has been a major patch since. And there's quite a few important things changed that I do want to ask your opinion about. But let's see if they are starting or not. Because it definitely looks like that.
Well, we are at 30 minutes to the top of the hour. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. Let's see. Or 30 seconds, rather.
Well, it's actually 9 p.m. On point here. Maybe that's what they were waiting for. We can see. But they
we do have some movement.
Very ready.
It looks like, yeah, the engagement is beginning from what I see here.
And there it starts, and the stage is yours, Uchoo.
That's just a little bit of positioning. As you can see, okay, this is interesting. So we see we have our two AoE groups working together, but our third Destro mark is staying mounted. So it's indicating he's probably going to rush some healers here in the back line, and that's Brogan's team with the ST. There they go. They're already sitting on Archmage here, who is this Aelius from Retribution, running to the blob. So you can see that Retribution wants to keep this fight very centralized. Their healers will likely run to them, and they're going to create this mass AoE blob that is very dangerous to be anywhere near. Whereas the Destruction team wants to do this as well, and each side has a little bit of advantages. But the Slayer team is going to be far more dangerous because they are running the super red build. So they use both Short Temper, which reduces their cooldowns by 5 seconds when they're in red, and the auto attack haste, which gives them 50% increased auto attack haste when they're in red. So if these Slayers can stay in red and be kept healthy, they do an almost infinite amount of damage. All they do is they put Inevitable Doom on every enemy, and the damage just cascades. And you can see a lot of it here that they carve those runes out of the enemies. If they stand near each other, the damage cascades, and it's almost impossible to tank. And these Destro are just playing on the edge, being as safe as possible. You see these Choppas dancing out. They do not want to be a part of that. If these IDs get stacked up, they are in serious, serious trouble. And they're waiting for maybe Brogan to get some value here. He's on the side, trying to harass some healers. Not seeing his second DPS with him. So they're definitely playing a little bit loose here. And yeah, the fight is starting to spread.
Yes, at the beginning, Destruction was definitely together. I was almost worried about it, especially being so stacked after the last patch, which did fix major AoE bugs we had, especially for Slayer and Choppa, that their AoEs now properly work. And also, pretty major fixes for Slayer abilities, which will reflect in tonight's match, I would say.
Well, the interesting thing here is the Destruction, you see, they don't want to stay in too long on these fights. Now, Destruction, they have good... we see big damage on that Squig Herder already, as these people stay in for too long and get clumped up. Like I mentioned, the Inevitable Doom's going to get stacked up, so they poke in and they poke out, but the Destruction tanks do have the morale pumps. They can get to those safety morales much faster, and Destruction also has a very strong morale advantage on the offense. They have very good morales from both the melee Squig and the Choppas. So if they can get to those and have those people not die, then we can see perhaps a sweeping victory on the side of Destruction. But all Order has to do is keep them locked down and in fight for a certain amount of time, and if they all stay clumped together and Order can just do free damage. That's all they need to do to win this. Meanwhile, we do see Nash's team over here. They are doing a single target as well, and it looks like we're just this is turning into another kind of a 6v6 brawl between the two single target teams.
Yes.
The
two single target
a lot of
teams
teams
were
tend to do
brawling
this.
meanwhile while you were explaining things over here, and it was definitely a back and forth dance of both of them going pretty low, both Brogan and Nash going very low health, but it seems both teams did recover. There's a big burst in Pungabo, the Rune Priest here.
So what's interesting about this is in these setups, these 6v6s used to be much less interesting to watch, but in this batch, damage is very, very high. And all of you people who are playing, enjoying ranked right now, you know what I'm talking about. Damage is incredibly high. So even that little 6v6, you could see a death on Brogan or Nash, could go back and forth either way. But your goal as the 6-man in these is typically to kill a healer, because if you can drop 1 or 2 healers, then you can snowball the entire fight across the 18-man people. We do see an M4 popped for Order here, so I'm not sure. It might have been a Destruction morale drop up we saw there, some Choppa M4. So we get a nice reactionary.
It might have been a Destruction one. I also missed that. This was definitely an Order M4 from tanks. And it seems the single target groups are chasing the different healers on both sides, though they might have just got that poor Zealot. There is
we see Zealot kills. I think that's Fowler who just dropped. Are we getting the stake? We see Viserys casting the stake. He does get the stake. So now what you want to do here, that target cannot be resurrected for 30 seconds. So now what they want to do is they want to snowball this and kill a second healer. So we're seeing reactionary defensive morales from the Destruction side. You see that already. They're trying to stop it so they can get that res off before the snowball is absolutely out of control. But you see on the far side there, we have Nash's team just sitting and grinding down some healers over here. And these AoE teams are just trying to control each other. They're fighting and fighting and fighting. Trying to make it so the other side cannot escape from the ball and assist the other team to get more value here.
I think we just witnessed a massive destruction burst there, since also Rathra, the main assist of Order, went down over there. We've seen some massive destruction numbers.
Now, it is very scary here because, again, these Slayers, they want to stay in red. They're probably going to be greedy and stay in red too long, and that's very easily punished. And Dissolution is very, very good at punishing people who are, you might say, a little bit too squishy. And if there's anything you would describe as squishy, it'd be a Slayer in the red.
All right. That is notorious. It is one of the things that's first advice for newer players. Then maybe starting as a Slayer might not be the best idea if you don't have a healer and tank friend.
Slayers are one of the best classes in the entire game to dump support into. They have almost all the damage and tools they need to kill almost anything in the game by themselves. So if you have friends who play and they want to play supports, then playing a Slayer is a great option for you. But like you said, if you don't, it will be tougher for you.
And another Order M4, tank M4 was forced out, it seems.
We're seeing a lot of M4s traded back and forth here. And it's funny because they don't seem like very big damage drops. But just like I said, the general damage seems so much higher in this patch that people just kind of freak out and hit their defensive buttons at random times. So if they decide to punish these at any time, either team, this could really go either way. But they're doing such a good job of control, and the people are doing such a good job at just staying alive. There we see a big M3 drop. What did we get there? We got a kill on Nut, I think. But he gets instantly res. They really, really need to get pressure on these healers. They cannot let these healers just res. All that morale, all that damage they did was just wasted by this res unless they can punish the res sickness, which is 45 seconds where that target has reduced stats.
Indeed, this is very exciting. At least we do see the dancing back and forth, the health bars just going up and down, but we do see massive bursts compared to last time. Last time there were huge bursts as well, but in general, the teams could recover. Now it seems some of these bursts, they just can't come back, which could be also because of the smaller scale, or it's just perhaps the current balance that we are experiencing.
It's very, very controlled. You see how safe both sides is playing. Currently, the kill count is 6 Order to 5 Destruction, and that's a very low kill count, lower kill count than what I'd expect here. So they're being very safe, waiting for the big morale drops to try to get the tempo to win these fights. But The other interesting thing about having two short temper slayers here, they have reduced cooldown at shatter limbs. All these Destro DPS constantly have shatter limbs, those increased cooldowns, and they just cannot get damage off. If you just watch Clue, all he is doing is trying to stay on the edge of this fight, stay alive, and they're just going in when they have big pressure drops. Here it is with the Furious Stomp, but insta bellow and shatter limbs on Claw. He just simply cannot get the damage off he likes to. But will Rathro pay the price? I think if he drops Rage, it's almost impossible for him to die here. But if he greeds it, he can die, which is what we saw earlier. We do see the M1 from Rathro as reaction. Good challenge rotations. Here's a Rampage. I'm not sure what they're going to do with this Rampage here. Claw taking some pretty heavy damage, though. I see he is kicked out. And we do another Destro M4. This is very safe play back and forth. Just very safe play back and forth. If these teams play just a little bit higher tempo, take a few risks, they could sweep this very well. But I think that they're really just waiting for Brogan to get some kind of healer tempo, but he's being so well peeled by the Nash 6-man. Like Nash is playing so much like the Varka's team did, the Team Spirit team did last time, and he's just peeling Brogan, stopping him from getting any value. Like these 6-mans are just not contesting each other. So the healers are not dying quite as much as we'd expect. And the kill count did go up 6-6. Now it's very even, very safe, very controlled, Hasmi.
And once again, another Destruction M4. You just see the green circle everywhere, Uchoo. that's what we have to get used to, it seems.
Yeah, but like I said, like the damage is so high this patch that some of these M4s I don't think are necessary. But again, they're popping so many. And there's a chop M4 from Brogan. What is he trying to achieve here? Is he getting any value? No, he did not. They also witch up M3'd. Unfortunate. That was the big morale drop from Brogan, and no value was achieved. It's very sad. And meanwhile, we do have 2 more kills for Order. But the problem is, with these Slayers, and then we have the 2 Slayers, and then the Bright Wizard White Line, also notorious, big AoE, and the proc damage. It's just so much damage to play into. You have to be very careful. So these M4s are somewhat understandable, but I think these guys could be a little bit more bold and conserve these, because these Slayers will punish it given any opportunity.
Oh, but you do have to be careful. If anything that we learned last time we were broadcasting this is that a single bad move can snowball the situation out of control, and that might just cost one of the sides the whole match. And I think the teams are afraid of that.
That is the funny thing. You're exactly right, Hasmi. I think they are both playing very safe because they don't want that to happen. They are trying to avoid that snowball. What happened when we saw that healer kill earlier with that stake? We saw a massive morale drop from Destro. They wiped out 2 of the Order AoE DPS. They said, no, you guys are not tempoing off that kill. We're going to control you here and now.
And that is exactly why you see all these tank M4s constantly, because they are stopping the snowballs from happening. And in the meanwhile, we could also see a couple of kills. We've seen, I think, 1 kill from each side. Another Order has fallen here. We couldn't see, unfortunately, who that was. But it seems the groups are absolutely just blobbed up here. AoE damage everywhere. And Gaijin might just go down from Retribution, but he just barely made out. The health boys are just dancing up and down, Uchoo.
Yeah, and that's how the game is right now. If you've watched any of the ranked games recently, damage just seems crazy, and healers are having an insane time keeping up. And I don't know if there is a better Order comp to manipulate and abuse that fact right now than what we see here, but that Order comp is very squishy and easily punished by these Choppas, and we do have the Destro strike through comp. Okay, now here's something interesting I did not notice earlier. We do have a Cobbs using Staggering Impact. The newly buffed Staggering Impact is huge value here. Reducing the cooldown on that ability.
Buff.
The cooldown on that ability was reduced from 30 seconds to 10 seconds, so that it now has a permanent uptime, just like Furious Howl. And with that ability, it reduces defense, block, and parry by 10%. So a lot of DPS right now, you see this damage, a lot of DPS are stacking parry, they're stacking defense. And we all know tanks, they stack that parry. So if we reduce that by 10%, you're multiplying the damage those people take, especially those tanks, to guard damage by a massive amount. Now we do see a lot of damage on Kaprowski here, but they are retaliating. We do see Furious Stomp channels coming up from Destro. And I'm not quite sure what the Destro Choppas are playing.
Like
they may be playing
Order single target is bursting down the poor Zealot again. But he's just escaping, barely.
No kill achieved. Brogan has really been struggling to get a lot of value this match. Now I'm wondering what build his Witch Elf is playing, because I see he is with the Witch Elf. And that used to be the big meta comp on Destro. You have your Choppa for your Choppa M4 and the Witch Elf for the Witch Elf M3, which gives the group 50% critical strike chance, and you could kill almost anything in the game through guard, challenge, bellow, no problem. But that has been nerfed, and there have been some changes. So Brogan is again struggling to get some value, and he is getting sat on right now by Rathra a little bit. And again, it's so annoying to play against the short-tempered Slayers because they just have constant shatter limbs, IDs everywhere. It is so frustrating to play against this. And Memory the Witch Elf. I'm guessing this is Scourge, but I don't know his Witch Elf's name.
And meanwhile, we are getting comments in this time also that the fights seem endless, and it seems it comes down to whose fingers start hurting the most, which normally would be true. But I'm sure you have a few things to say about this, Uchoo, as well. That some of these players are so experienced and on the higher end of the brackets that's exactly what makes these players really good at the game, and not necessarily their knowledge of the game itself or their experience with certain careers, but also that their performance is constantly maintained and it does not drop, which is one of the qualities usually in
Oh, Ialius taking a lot of damage here. We did see a Destro M4. That's a double guard on Ialius. So with 2 guards on Ialius, there are no guards on his DPS right now. So they could punish those. I'm guessing he's in the Slayer party. Memory the Witch Elf does go down. I think we do a little bit of a morale drop here, but he instantly res. They really need to look to taunt these reses whenever they get the chance. Another on Brogan, though. He is numbed and champed. I'm surprised we've not seen more champ challenge. I think this is the first one we've seen this fight, at least that I've seen.
Oh,
but
that
he
was
is making
definitely
it
the
out.
first one.
Now, Champ Challenge people are big fans of Champ Challenge this patch, so I would like to see more of that, and I'm glad we finally saw one. But yeah, it's been a little slow, a little stagnant. Order has gotten 2 more kills since the last time we talked about the kill count. And what was
and
your
they
question?
just got another zealot. Excuse me, they just got another zealot on the single target team down.
And at the same time, we do see the M4 from the Anger Blaze team. So that's a big advantage to Order right now. They stopped the Destro drop, and they also got a kill at the same time. Meanwhile, Nash, his pet is about to die. If his pet dies, okay, he's going to lose a lot of damage. The pet is very important for the White Lion damage, but they are doing their best to try to snowball off this. And I would like to see a little bit more active tank play. I think that would change a lot in this matchup. But in regards to the player skill you talked about earlier, this game at the highest level is absolutely a triathlon. Unlike WoW Arena, there is no diminishing healing value over time, so nothing really changes. People just simply trade cooldowns back and forth the whole way, and the more you play, the more you're aware of what you have, what your team has, and what the enemy team has. So many of these players are very aware of that, and they're playing well around that. So we just need to see well-executed plays for anything big to happen.
Well, yeah, we've just seen a massive order burst over there, which did force out another destruction M4. Just like you said, the damage is so insane that you just see them being topped. Next moment, they're barely alive, and these M4s are just necessary.
Yeah, it's actually been refreshing. A lot of people have enjoyed this patch because things just die easier, and it's a higher tempo, harder to react to, and it's such a stark contrast to what the game was before the patch. I think it's maybe tuned a little bit too much in the one direction, and they bring it back just a little bit. The game could feel better, or they could do other things like they could add more defensive abilities to the game, defensive mechanics, which a lot of it's a contentious point in the community right now what the next step should be, but I think it's very promising because there's a lot of options of what could happen. Not Kluklu absolutely dropping HP, no double guarded now, interesting. Another Destro M4 here on the Brogan
Yeah, they
team.
got destruction on the back foot. Not only they did force out the M4, they are somewhat in the retreat. And the health bars are definitely down.
I think the person I feel sorry for the most here in this game is going to be Nyx. That is the cat pet of Nash Dragon. There's a little bit of animal cruelty going on here, hasn't it? That pet's been dying quite a bit.
Now, of course, in the creation of this broadcast, no pets have been hurt. Don't worry.
Only pixels.
Oh, only pixels.
But that is a key part of controlling a white line. If you kill their pet, it severely reduces their damage output, so it's a very wise maneuver. And that is what we are seeing. Again, I would like to see a bit of a tactical shift here. Order is balling, and they need to ball harder and just push their buttons harder and faster. And I think they'd absolutely sweep this because Destro has been balled for so long. They're just not getting enough pressure. They're feeling so safe, and Destro should never, ever feel safe in this blob. We need these Slayers to be playing at the highest skill level possible. Every single global, they need to be applying an ID, an Onslaught, a Shatter Limbs, a Numb, or a Heal debuff on every single global. They cannot miss it or their damage will simply fall off.
Well, meanwhile, though, we could see that the Order is very slowly racking up those kills, because we do see a few players drop one by one here and there.
Another morale drop from the Brogan team, the Witch Elf M3. They're trying to get through Mr. Mojo, but it's mistimed because he did have his 50% damage reduction, which did drop, and he is double guarded. Double Cobbs in that party, which is a little bit strange. You see the magical infusion. They're trying to get through it, but I just don't think they're going to achieve that kill. Brogan needs to fast swap. They need to keep sitting on targets. They need to keep the snares off these DPS and let them do things. And again, they're getting into another 6v6 fight with the Order single target team. A lot of damage on memory, but okay, and then we see a Destro morale drop inside the blob here. I did see a Squig M3 fly through the air there. Doesn't look like it achieved too much value though, and just too many. Okay, Wrathra did go down and get rezzed. That's a good start, but these Order healers are just free casting way too much. I think maybe they're a little bit too scared of the Order DPS, because if you let these Slayers alone for a few seconds even, they can become impossible to control. So typically the strategy is, when you're playing against Slayers, is to sit on them so much that they simply cannot stay in red. And I think that's probably what we're seeing. Destro is trying to do that so they can just have some kind of foothold in this match. Esme.
Yeah, I definitely believe you. You're the expert here, Uchoo. Oh, like we are seeing a massive burst in the AoE group again here. Meanwhile,
let me tune into your point of view here and see what you're looking at. Yeah, that's a lot of damage on the Destro team. You see that Black Orc tank,
and there goes the M4.
Not going up. It's such a struggle to make HP bars go up right now. Look at that. Like, it went down, it's up, it's down, it's up. His HP is just struggling to recover. And Black Orc tanks are not squishy, but he has to eat so much guard damage from these rampaging Slayers. And we're seeing so many punts on these Slayers as well. It's so smart. You just got to get them out of the fight. And I'd like to see more champ challenges and some more interesting things here. I think it would have been cool to see like a shield dock here, but that might have been too much to try to keep alive against 4 Order DPS at once.
Yeah, perhaps with the current damage, that might not be the best choice. Since healers are already surprised from what you see.
Yeah, I am also surprised I'm not seeing any Winds of Insanity from Zealots, or even a Wind Block. I think that could go a long way in this matchup as well. That's even those abilities have even eked their way into the ranked scene, because sometimes it's so hard to stay alive on a Zealot that you just simply need to have wins, and you just drop the stagger from the build.
Well, it is very interesting that you did bring up Winds of Insanity. That could very much be an agreement between the teams as well, because from what I've heard, Winds of Insanity is somewhat currently proposed to the balance group as well, that it should be changed because it does have bugs as well. So that very much could be an agreement or a rule.
I don't know if it's a bug or if it's an intended change, but it is different. It used to be able to taunt. It was a channeled ability, and you could taunt it, interrupt it normally. But now it's a blessing you have to sever. But you have to get into melee range to sever that blessing while being spam knocked back by the ability. It's a bit of a struggle to do. So it's pretty free right now, yes. Oh, Destro M4 on the alias. He may drop here from this M4 damage on Broken Team. M4 ran out. He will be safe. They even tried a cross morale from the other team on the alias, but I think he's just running a lot of HP, and he does not drop. Gets a double guard swap. They do get his focused mind out, though. So if they can... Okay, and then there's the defensive morale, the M4 on the Brogan team. So now they wanted to tempo that onto someone else and swap targets, but now all 3 teams are following Brogan around and just not letting him play the game.
And at the same time, the Destruction AoE group is snowballing a little bit. They just got 2 healers in a row.
They should be. This is good. This is good. That was a mistake. They chased Brogan's team away. It was 18v6 that allowed the 12-man to do whatever they wanted. So Ealius might drop here
Yeah, we
Oh,
seen
look at
an
that HP
Archmage.
just
I'm not
ping
sure who it
ponging.
was. Then
Oh,
Mr.
but
Mojo
the
went
return
down.
damage on the Destro
Oof.
side, Calisandra, the Blackguard, almost dies. He goes 100% to 18%. I think he double potted there to stay alive. Insane damage. Just a little bit more aggression could absolutely turn this fight. And now the kill count is 24 Order to 13 Destro. We have seen a big uptake in the Order kill count, but none of these kills really matter. They are a win condition if you can get to 75 kills, I believe is their win condition. But as long as the reses keep going out, this fight will continue to go on just the same.
Well, Destruction got very close this time around because, again, they got 3 healers down in a row. But then there was a counter from Order. And a massive burst is what we can see already. Meanwhile,
But do you see some Slayer channels going out here? The damage is just massive, but there is some return damage on Gaijin. So I'm glad the Destruction is at least staying aggressive into this because they absolutely need to. They need to keep damage on these Slayers.
I don't know about you, but I'm glad I'm the healer here.
Well, you know, you would think that, but a lot of healers are actually having more fun this patch. I think the people having the least amount of fun are the DPS because they're just sweating every moment that they're playing the game. Their HP is just spiking up and down constantly.
Yes, and there went the Squig also. Wait, both
Yes,
Squigs went down?
insane.
Or was it the same? That could have been a visual bug. I'm not sure. Everyone's flying.
He is
everywhere.
res, and there's an instant res kill. I didn't say that was a bad res position. Very good move from Order Team. They're getting inside that healer line after a kill, and they're stopping these reses. That's what you need to do. You need to stop the enemy team from recovering like this. They are down to DPS, which means you're taking damage from one less person. You can be aggressive. You can get into the healer lines. So now it's up to the tanks and some of the healer tools to slow them down, control them, use these puddles, snares, stop them from running at you, and someone get the res off. And now Brogan is still trying to be aggressive here. Meanwhile, the two AoE teams have kind of met back up, and we're still seeing the 6v6 between Nash and Brogan here. So this is just then an M4 from the Nash team. I'm not quite sure why. There was nothing big used from Brogan, so it's very slow, very controlled. And I think Destro really needs to play a wild card here. There needs to be a gambit to see a big shift in this game here.
That was definitely, as you said, it was definitely a safety M4. They were trying to focus down Zazu, the Archmage, but his health didn't really go that low, and I feel that was just a safety M4, like you said.
Insane, the Squig Herder does go down again, and like I said, I think a lot of players aren't quite used to the damage output of this patch yet, so a lot of M4s are thrown around, I guess I'd say, kind of willy-nilly.
And they have to be careful here because they did just get an AoE group Shaman down, and I think Order is going to try to blub up a little bit, the 3 groups. And that's always, you know, when we saw last time as well, the snowballs, so that's when you have to be really careful, when the AoE groups and the single target groups combine together again.
You are absolutely right. We have not seen too much of that, bro, yet, because I think Brogan, I'm not sure why, but he has a comp that would be very good at kind of blending into the blob and assisting on their damage, but they're just determined to get those healer kills or fight the 6-6 against Nash. And again, we see him pounding out a Rune Priest here. We see Mr. Mojo, but he has his 50% cooldown or damage reduction up and an M4. He is not dying to Brogan, but that's okay. You get those tools out of them. Now you can swap on a different target, which they do instantly. Now they're on Punga. Let's see if they can get some tools out of this team. And all of that is giving advantages to the Destro AoE ball if they can achieve anything with it, but it's a little bit passive, a little bit back and forth here.
Yeah, and also, if we're talking about people who are going down really fast, it's really scary currently to also play in the single target groups as a Witch Hunter or a Witch Elf, and those are exactly the players who are being focused down anyway, who I believe are usually the targets in ranked as well, but now it's even scarier to play those careers.
If you're a Witch Hunter, Witch Elf, you are light armor, so you're going to have to get used to taking damage, and you're a single target class. You have to get in there and you have to poke somebody in the back. That's your job. You're the roguelike class, but they're given a plethora of tools to help survive in those situations and get around, move, escape, and re-engage. So it's more of just learning how to do the dance.
Meanwhile, in the background, you could see we were following the single target groups. And yes, they are heavily focusing Mr. Mojo on Order side. Definitely sweating throughout the fight to remain alive. But Rune Priests do have a lot of survivability. And like you said, Grimnir Shield is is just such a great tool. But ooh, they did force out an M4 from Destruction side, very close to dying from multiple people. Very
Yeah, we
very
do see
scary.
big damage on Memory the Witch Elf. I think that maybe his Renown build might be a little bit greedy, so that White Lion burst is very scary. They did kill the pet, so now they're pretty safe here. They should be able to keep up their pressure, but they're being peeled with a lot of slows. These healers, this healer's pretty isolated. Zazu's looking pretty isolated. The tanks are here. I don't think he's going to get too much cross support from the rest of the order team, but he does get the wounds buff. The big protection of the ancestors is a 156 wounds buff, so he should be feeling pretty healthy. They're in constant pressure on Memory the Witch Elf. This poor guy's having such a difficult time getting any damage off because he's being focused so heavily.
And at the same time, they have to focus down the poor Lion pet because that's the best way to shut down that burst.
See, I would like to see a lot more pressure on these order healers, especially the archmages and then if we talk about destruction, the shamans. These classes can do so much healing on a pile, on a group, and they're also the class that has the instant res tactic. So if you can shut down the archmages or the shamans, that's one of the fastest ways to snowball in your favor. And I would like to see more of that here.
I have to be very careful with the instant resurrections here, though. I actually do want to ask your opinion about that. Isn't it quite dangerous to use that on the other hand? Especially with this burst that we have nowadays.
I don't think it's really that scary to use as long as you have good positioning, because it stuns you for 3 seconds, which is the same duration as the resurrection cast would be otherwise. So if you have good position to start with, then you're fine. And if they decide to chase you and punish you on an insta-res, both classes have a good plethora of tools to survive and escape. The more dangerous thing is that they might get the res kill on the person you just rezzed. But because you resurrected them instantly, they should be able to get out of dodge before anything too crazy happens. Another M4 for the Nash.
Yes, nonetheless, it is definitely good to have Nerves of Steel with the current burst that we're seeing.
Absolutely. Nerves of Steel, I would say, is key to survival in this patch. Now we do see a reset. I'm not sure what the win condition here was. Our kill count is 30 to 14.
Perhaps is it possible for one of the teams to retreat or to surrender? I'm not sure if that is within the rules, but that was a fun-looking match. And so far, very similar to the last time, where the first one I think we ran out of time, and then the second and the third match was where we've seen some extremely crazy snowballs that went from nothing to 100% in just a matter of minutes. But that was our first match, everyone.
The 24v24 we had in our first episode was a lot more chaotic and, in my opinion, exciting. But as you see this time, they learned to be very controlled. I think it's A, because of the results of the chaos in the first match, and B, because this patch damage is so crazy, we need to be controlled and make sure we're not getting snowballed all the time. So our final kill count was 30 to 14. No one really got any big crazy plays off. Nothing too crazy happened because I think everyone's just being careful.
Yes, like that's exactly what we've seen through all those M4s. And now that we are between two matches, we finally have some time to talk about changes. And like I said at the beginning, there was a major content patch, content and balance patch between these two broadcasts we had, and that not only introduced huge changes to certain careers and just the general balance of the game, but also fixed major bugs that were affecting Choppas and Slayers the last time. What can you tell us about that, Uchoo? Really briefly.
Well, the interesting thing about those bugs is it forced people to play the cooldown reduction tactics on both classes, and they realized how good they are generally. So now that I think the Flurry Lots of Choppin' tactics are fixed, they're still being used pretty interchangeably with the cooldown reduction tactics, because on Slayer, instead of using Flurry, you can just simply press Inevitable Doom on every cooldown, which is a build that's very powerful if you're a high skill player. And same with Choppa, you can use Furious Stomp and your channels more frequently. But on Chop, it's hard because if you're getting interrupted a lot, you need to rely on your Lots of Chop. So Lots of Chop is more of the backbone tactic for the Choppa. And yeah, but they're fixed now, and I think it was interesting because of that. Now there's a bit of a meta shakeup finally due to that.
And with that said, also the Furious Stomping has experienced a little bit of a nerf since last time. Do you feel that did affect the strength of Choppa as much? Do you think that reached the effect they were hoping for?
Oh, it absolutely had a big effect on Choppas. The initial tick does a lot of damage, the rest of the ticks not so much. So it's severely punishing the damage, especially when Choppa's in RVR. They do Furious Stomp into the get to the Choppa channels, pull people in. You're taking much less damage on those than you would have previously. So in RVR, I think it's better for the game, but I still think Choppa is a little bit worse than Slayer overall for small scale and stuff like this, controlled environments. So I would maybe still like to see a change there.
Indeed, and we might just see, who knows. But also another big change the last patch was the reduction of certain AoE abilities radius, which isn't exactly a balance change, it was more of a fix after the recent ability rework. How do you feel that affected the comps and the different careers that have been participating in these matches, especially with a lot of complaints and criticism against White Lions recently and their huge AoE?
Well, I mean, another interesting thing is that White Lion is still a staple in this comp. It had a big radius, and now it got tuned back. I actually haven't had much of a time to test it myself or to look into things, but how has it changed comps in these matches? Not at all. We actually have the same comp as before, double Slayer and then White Lion plus Bright Wizard. And in RVR, I think it's kind of the same thing. There's White Lions everywhere. They just have a little bit less radius, but it's still a really good class. You have fast hitting damage that does a lot of damage, and you have an AoE interrupt that's also a spirit damage AoE dot, which is just a fantastic kit on also a pretty tanky character. So,
Well, that is very interesting to hear, and maybe that is also excellent feedback to see how things are going to go on from here on out. But I'm curious how the matches will continue, because the very last time it started similarly, that the first match was somewhat slow. But after that, I don't know if the teams started to tire out or they started playing a little bit more risky, or they changed their
let me
comps.
tell you,
I think they didn't change much, but the pace definitely went up in the continued matches.
let me tell you, Hasmi, from a person who has participated in a lot of these high-end matches, that first round was probably exhausting for a lot of these guys. So I don't know if I expect to see any comp shifts from either side, but I do expect to see tactical shift from Destro. I think that would be the biggest thing they can do. And we do see Yahweh bouncing around a lot, which indicates to me he's probably thinking and talking actively on Discord with his team, trying to figure out what they want to change with the comp they have to get a different result.
And what do you think? What do you think are the changes that both teams should do? What do you think is what they could improve on, and what is it that they're really good at? If you've been able to notice it.
The Order AoE ball is absolutely devastating to the point where you cannot walk near it if the Slayers can stay in red. So the Destro team needs to skirmish with them constantly and do their best to keep them out of red while building up to their morales, because the Destro morale drop is devastating and very almost impossible to control, especially if you have something like a Warlord tank or a morale drain of any kind on their side. You could do a Black Orc morale 4 morale drain. If you stop their tanks from using defensive morales when the Choppas use their M4s, you will delete their entire front line almost instantly. But what I would like to see is a lot more aggression. I would like to see Brogan's team break away, get after some healers, and get some serious damage done, especially on the Archmages. I'm watching all these Order healers free cast, and that needs to stop. It needs to change in some way. Someone has to do something about it.
You say that, but those Archmages have been harassed throughout that fight. I've seen them go up and down constantly. So maybe it's just that they couldn't capitalize on the advantage that they were getting, especially because of all those M4s that we've been seeing.
It's all mental though, Hasmi. All those, whatever they think they don't have an advantage, they do have an advantage if they know where to go and what to do. Same thing as ranked. Anything in this game, Just high tempo play, make the right move, make it fast, make the enemy have to think. And if they can't react fast enough, they lose. So more aggression and a little bit better control from tanks to help support the aggression. And I think we would see a much more snowbally match.
Interesting. And you might be just right that the first match was so exhausting that, again, people might try to play a little bit more aggressive just to be able to keep their energy and also to not just exhaust themselves even further, especially if they want to play multiple matches. But from what I see, the two groups are starting to get ready.
The only other
more.
Maybe like tactical cheese they might employ on the Destro side is Shaman using like a double morale pump to get these choppers to M4 faster so they can just get some damage out in a reliable amount of time. And then Order side, I don't think they'll change much of anything, except maybe Nash might be more aggressive. We'll see.
Yeah, unfortunately, this time around, I'm not sure if we are getting any information if the teams are trying to change something or not. But it doesn't look like there's been, there's been major changes. I'm trying to get the tags again, and the fight has just started.
And real quick, Hasmi, I did get an update from Pung, one of the event organizers. He says 30 minutes or 50 kills are the win conditions here outside of a full-on wipe, and we did hit 30 minutes on that last match.
So
hopefully
it seems
this
the
one we get to
rules
see more of
were
the kills.
then changed due to, well, probably as an experience from the last time, and also that, well, this is a smaller warband fight than last time.
Yes, likely due to the size of the compositions. Smaller point army, if you will.
Oh, yes.
And we do see some really aggressive fighting on the AoE teams here. And I do like seeing the aggression here. And we're seeing a lot of, even some healer morales dropped here. Oh, we have a Talon on Kong Bright the Bright Wizard. Will they do anything with this Talon? That's okay, the Talon does expire. So they tried very hard to get a lot of damage out there. That's good, good aggression. Now they're going to peel back and do a micro reset here to try to get everybody's HP up. A lot of these debuffs to fall off and go again. Now Brogan, again, chasing these healers. Brogan, in my opinion, is a little bit too easy to read. He could be a little bit sneakier. And then so Nash, though, is what I'm interested in, because Nash, all he did last time was try to peel Brogan. And if he instead this game just goes for healers like he's doing now, and these teams kind of ignore each other, it could be far more chaotic. So both teams are freely hitting healers uncontested, both 6-man teams. And they're right next to each other, but just killing each other's healers.
Yes, but both of them failed now, it seems. So the only loser here is the poor White Lion. The White Lion pet, but it seems not even the White Lion pet is going down this time around.
So now it kind of happened again, but okay, so Nash is breaking away from Brogan, trying to chase. Please get into some healers here, Nash. Same with Brogan. Just let each other play the game. Let's see what happens. Meanwhile, Order blobs, the AoE blobs a little bit passive. We do have a Rampage channel drop here. Should have reset my kill count from the last.
We've just seen a massive burst and pool. Poor Dolby, the shaman there. I have no idea how they survived, but they did, which was a really nice attempt from Order.
And we do have 1-0 kill count here in favor of Order. So I think, again, kind of hinging a little bit on these single target teams if they manage to get some more value, or if the Destruction AoE team manages to get a big Choppa M4 drops. This is what I'm looking for here. And it's so annoying. Kaprowski, he has got 2 Shatter Limbs on him right now, so he's just really struggling to push any buttons on top of the damage he's taking. So he does reset, get all those cleanses off, get those debuffs off of him, and they're starting to push that Lots Chop, get some damage off again. Now,
and just
some
like
of their
last time,
healers.
Insane the Squig Herder is also having a really hard time staying alive. Definitely feel bad for the poor Squig there. But they just got Pungabo down from nowhere. The AoE groups.
Oh, that's what I like to see.
Clue just went on the healers, and they did get a little bit of advantage. And they also got down Mr. Mojo. That means 2 healers from Order are down, and they are going
this might
after
snowball
the
has
next
me.
ones. That wasn't Mojo, excuse me, but another Rune Priest. But we are seeing massive pressure on the healers right now. Currently,
But again,
Alias,
here's the
Archmage.
problem.
Another one down.
Punga does get
excuse
res.
me.
Zazu, it was Zazu who dropped, and it looks like Zazu got rezzed, and Rathr's low on HP. Now, this is the advantage here, is if you get pressure on the healers, you see Rathor are sitting out on the outside, it is very difficult for these DPS to walk in here and do much of anything, because they don't have guard right now. These Slayers have no support. So they're forced to kind of sit on the sidelines or risk dying without having any support.
Oh, that was a
And that is
really dangerous situation. Like, so many of the healers were down at the same time. Destruction got very close there, and they still are. The pressure is constantly there. Pungabo once again down.
the problem again. We see Rathma just sitting on the side, just kiting out. He's waiting for his team to recover before he can make a big play here. And this is the kind of pressure we need to see from Destruction.
Like, keep
You
in
need
mind,
to
it's
either
really hard
sit on
for
the
Order
Slayers.
now. They have multiple Order players down. They have 4 or 5 people down, and they need to res them.
We have Gaijin down. We have the Bright Wizard Kong Bright down. Half of the AoE team, it looks like, is dead. And that's going to be so hard to recover from here. We need to kite and get our healers around in a good position, get these insta-reses off, or focus mine reses as quickly as they can. So, okay, I think they're down to just 1 dead now. There was the last breath on the Kong Bright from a... Okay, so now they can recover from the situation, but they do have a lot of res sickness here. So for the next 40 seconds or so, Order is going to have a pretty severe disadvantage on stats.
Rathra once again
And that-
down, and it seems they dropped the supply box.
And now this is going very well. Destruction is it's 16-2 so far that I see in this matchup, and that was a classic Dissolution maneuver. Clacklaw is one of the best in the game at pulling the trigger and getting all 12 of his people to converge and pinpoint on one random target somewhere on the map. That's what they did. They snowballed 2 healers very quick. Order did not react, and it just went from there.
And it very much looks like Order is surrendering this fight. It seems the single
Yeah,
target
this
group
is,
out of the map.
We have a lot of dead Order here. 2 dead Order healers. Kong Bright down again. And this is 20 kills now for Destruction. And yeah, that is the victory condition there, Chief.
Just like last time, Uchoo, we see these snowballs happening in the second match immediately, and that was a very exciting match. But before you say anything, it is time, everyone, for a quick giveaway to do on the stream. I will be starting it right now. Once again, we are giving away 100 gold to whoever wins, and let us see. I'm just gonna start it really quickly because this time around I have to do it alone. You will see the pop-up very shortly. You will just have to type in !giveaway very soon. Let us see. The announcement should be in chat and also on the screen. And you will be eligible for 100 gold prize. So make sure you sign in. And at the very end, whoever wins can choose whatever character on either side for the 100 gold. And also, welcome everyone who's just joining, lurking. Hope you're enjoying Realm Watch. So, Uchoo, what are your impressions? How was that game?
That is what I was looking to see in the first game. Classic Dissolution maneuver. I don't even know if they have a name for that tactic. I'm sure they do. A nice French name for it. But they blitzkrieg one target who looks unaware with 12 people, dies almost instantly. They instantly tempo that into a second kill, which is what they did, and Order just couldn't react. And then Destruction, especially the tanks, did a good job controlling it. The Order DPS, some of them were forced to sit on the sideline and just wait for recovery. And Destro did not give them a moment to breathe, Hazmi.
It was beautiful to see, honestly. The moment I saw one healer go down, they were already on the next one and the next one. It was just a pain train, I'm telling you, an absolute pain train. It was beautiful to see, frankly.
As a healer, a lot of the times you play around your frames. You're staring at your frames, you're hodding, you're casting heals, but if you do not have an eye on the enemy DPS and how far they are away from you, in 1 second they can be on top of you, you could be champs challenged, and you could be dead or nearly so. So, beware.
And I'm looking right now. Alright, we have all the marks. For a moment I thought Order was changing the roster, but I'm not sure exactly. It looks like there's not a lot of them, or is it just me feeling weird? Do you think there's gonna be any change in the rosters?
I think
We
Destruction's pretty
did
happy with their
just see. I
performance
don't know
there.
if that was a relog. Excuse me. A Knight of the Blazing Sun just enabled RVR. I'm not sure if that was a relog. It very much could be. Go ahead. Excuse me.
That's Mupak the Cubs. I think yes, he is in one of these teams here. Has a nice event pie on the Lexo. That's a less commonly seen one. But yeah, it looks like we have same comps on order side. I don't expect any changes from Destro, especially after that resounding performance last time.
Yeah, absolutely. It was beautiful, and they probably that match definitely revived everyone. You know, refreshed everyone, and they could taste some blood. Now they're ready for the next one. And very quickly, everyone, if you did not join the giveaway, make sure to type in !giveaway with small case letters before the next fight starts, so we can choose a victor. But it seems already it's starting, so we might keep the giveaway pop-up there for a few more minutes. And the stage is once again yours, Uchoo.
A pretty passive start, which is what you'd expect to see. Both these Choppas and these Slayers have to get up to red. Nash chasing some healer here who's really off in a quarter. Niang X, I don't know this poor fellow, so he might be in pretty low gear. He might be a fresh character, but getting a lot of cross heals. Good tank support right away. He does survive. Into the Destro blob he goes. Meanwhile, Brogan, same thing. They're trying to chase down. And yes, thank you, Brogan. Hit the Archmages. The Archmages should be your goal here. Try to get them down. Or if they have really squishy Rune Priests, which might be the case. A big AoE damage going both sides in these AoE teams. Look at Gaijin's HP just ping-ponging up and down, and Destro is being so aggressive. They're using the M1 talents for their Zealots. They're not saving for their defensive morales to increase their healing output or keep themselves alive. Just pure aggression, which is what I would like to see more of here in this match. Even Anger Blaze here, dropping to half HP just from guard damage and AoE soak here. The Alias is sitting on M2, kiting in and out here. He wants to stay near his blob, but not too far, not too close, because he might get pushed.
And also, the single targets are, of course, going after the healers. Mr. Mojo under tremendous pressure here. And that's another thing to talk a little bit about, Uchoo. After you win, like how Destruction won there, do you think these teams do choose their targets very carefully after that? Like, do they notice who's the weak point of a team potentially? And Zazu, I think, went down. Exactly what I was trying to point out here, that some of the healers who, you know, not out of their own mistakes go down, do get picked on after that. And it's a mental battle, isn't it?
Absolutely. And if they notice that a target tends to die more easily, take more damage, they will absolutely be a target more frequently. And that will not change unless that target starts surviving a lot. Then there's some confusion and they look for a different target.
Whoops.
That's
We are seeing
simply
a
human nature taking over
massive
here.
damage drop from Destruction in the AoE groups.
And meanwhile, a return massive damage drop from Order. I see even some of these Cobbs are running damage aura, trying to get as much damage as possible. I saw Clacklaw try to do damage, drop to 57% HP instantly. It's incredibly spooky in there.
That is what we like to see, Uchoo. Just blood everywhere. That is Warhammer.
There's blood everywhere, but these wounds are being restored as quickly as they are being ripped open.
Even better. More blood for the blood god.
That's exactly right. Now, again, these Order healers are all clumped in one pile here. So if Clacklaw sees this and he pulls the trigger and all these MDPS root break charge into these healers with a morale drop, they could instantly kill 2 to 3 of these again. And nope, Clacklaw is staying on the defensive here. It's more controlled and defensive here so far, but you just never know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. And the key point is, I think our melee squig hasn't been dying too much here.
But we did just get a Zealot down on the Destruction side from Nash Dragon, so we'll see who's their next target.
But unfortunately, at the same time, we do have a dead pet, so Nash Dragon's damage is pretty gimped, and he's also being focused down right now, but he does have the magical infusion, so he does take 20% increased healing until that effect expires, which lasts for a healthy 30 seconds, so he should be feeling just fine at the moment. So they are pounding damage into something over here. And he's looking for target swaps. They're trying to get back into these healer backlines here. I think Storskov here is about to take a pretty hefty amount of damage. There it is. Insta drop to 57%. He's getting some heals, 40%, 30%. Starting to move. See, this is a target that they might pick more frequently because it seems like he's a little bit less aware of his surroundings. So he might get picked on a little bit, but he is living just fine. So they'll have to find a new target. Meanwhile, in the AoE blob, it looks pretty passive here. Just we do have Furious Stomp and drops here, just doing damage, trying to contain them in a ball. And again, Destro, they want to get to those Choppa M4s. So they may be a little bit defensive and try to achieve that. Or we could see another aggressive Claw move, which right now, the Claw is rushing down the healers with the Yahweh team. What is this, a Rude Priest here? But is he surviving? Mr. Mojo at 6%, 20%, 40%, 60%, 40%. I think they should have maybe done the same move as last time. Yeah, and the M2, like at Mr. Mojo, he does do the Focus Mind Flee, a little cheeky maneuver there to get out. I think had they gone for a Pungabo first, like they did last game, that may have been a different result. We do see Pungabo this time does have much safer positioning. He's trying to stay away from these melee.
I would stay away as well. I don't know about you.
It depends on how I'm feeling at the moment, Hazmi. But yeah, it's pretty spooky damage in this patch. Nutbiter, they're just W keying at all these Destro. Look at Q dodge here, 27% HP on this tank. They're just taking so much guard damage. It is insane trying to survive against this Slayer ball.
And we just seen a beautiful stagger there from Destruction saving that poor Goblin.
We do have a talent onto Mr. Mojo here, and we know he has no defensives left. He used his morale about 30 seconds ago. No Grimnir shield, but they're just getting peeled. Brogan is just getting slowed up, and I wish they would have committed to that kill. I think they could have achieved it if they had committed to that kill.
Again, we can see those Rune Priests trying to run away, but it is looking very scary. And at the
another
same time,
champs challenge on Brogan there. Few champs. I would like to see more champs.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a lot. But with that said, at hopes of hopefully not missing anything, I will be locking down our first giveaway, and we'll be choosing our winner very shortly. There is the lockdown. And the winner of the very first giveaway is Garth. Congratulations. Make sure to whisper me the character and sigh that you would like your 100 gold on. And excuse me, let's get back to the match.
It's been a pretty passive AoE slog here. I think what's happening is that Yahweh is trying to pull a cheeky move, and he does. They are rushing at enemy. On Ialias now, he has not used many of his defensive tools, so he'll probably live just fine here. There is the AoE punt. And then a fast swap. This is what I like to see. We need a fast swap over here. Now we're back on the AoE blob. They're trying to force out tools and play fast and force the enemy tanks to make mistakes. But
I don't know what's happening, but Order is really low, and they just got healed back.
So Yahweh, they did do a double charge maneuver. Now they're on Punga. This is what they're doing. Finally, get these fast target swaps, get on Punga, force every single target to use their buttons. But there is a lot of return damage on Destro, so they have to maintain safety while doing these fast moves. And if they can't maintain that safety, they will have to peel off, and that will stop their tempo.
And it very much seems like they're picking on multiple of the healers at the same time, because we could see Pungabo, Elias, and Mr. Mojo heavily pressured at the same time, which is exactly what they did last time.
And we see our poor Black Orc, was that back in Nico here, just sitting at 30% HP. His health is just struggling to go up. Punga's very safe positioning way in the back. I appreciate that from him.
Yeah, last time we were talking about how much damage tanks are getting, and for poor tanks, it's even worse right now.
Memory does go down, and his armor pot has expired. Someone should tell Memory to refresh his armor potion. He gets blown up there by those Slayers.
Also in the end, barely escaped. That's the Zealot on Destruction side, like you said, who gets focused heavily. And yes, Garth, congratulations, you did win the giveaway. Make sure to whisper me the character you would like to get 100 gold on.
Here we go again with the Disso Yahweh, not Claw. They are going for the play on Mr. Mojo, but they do not connect well on that guy. And we do see the M4 for the Kaprowski team, because there was return order damage, and he dropped it 50% HP in 1 GCD. It's a pretty good reason to pop a tank M4. And now it's spooky here. Destro is so stacked up. Look at all these inevitable dooms, but they do kill Rathra. So that was an overcommitment by order, but we do see a Kaprowski kill and a Rathra kill. It's a little bit back and forth. In fact, there was 2 destruction goes. I think we had a second destruction DPS die there as well. So slightly favored in terms of order. And I have a feeling that if Order wins this one, it will again just be off kills. They won't snowball too far out of control.
Well, you never know. You say that. But you might just jinx it.
I could be wrong in the next 5 seconds here, Hasby. Don't say Pugabo down. Another dissolution shotgun maneuver executed here. Did they get the second healer kill? I think we had a second healer kill. But this time, the Order DPS are reacting. Look at all of this damage that are coming out. Insane 19% HP, 22%, 0% dead, mid-pounce, mid-air. What a cool shot that was. And that was a good move from Order there, is punish them rather than sit around and be scared. Just punish them back. So I think we're gonna get these healer reses here.
Got down Zazu, the Archmage. There's a lot.
I do see Zazu over here. Yeah. Finally, we're seeing some good aggression here. Like you said, Hasmi, I think everyone's just awake now, and we are seeing pressure on Punga. He is floating around here. He is moving, so he can't get those big group heals off. But he's filling his APM. He does magical infusion. Should be fine. They're turning back. The AoE balls are going to contest each other once more. Just look at this damage. Insane, the Squig Herder. 30%, 40%. He doesn't disengage out so he can get healed up. That is so much damage to be tanking from these short temper slayers. And then, okay, so we get these reses. And this may stagnate a little bit again, where the Arc Healers are turn casting. But
Order just forced. Like, Order just had to use an M4. There was a massive burst down on the AoE team of destruction. I'm not sure if you missed that.
Oh no, I saw it. I saw it. Now Ialias at 20% HP, 50%. He is face tanking this. Such a bold maneuver from Ialias. Finally, some movement here. He has a lot of confidence in his build and his team to face tank like that. I respect that maneuver.
Also, I'm pretty sure I've just seen Kong Bright, the Bright Wizard, go from 50% health to nothing. This is terrifying.
Now we do another destruction kill, and the kills are just very even. I'm not sure where this is going to go, but it can go all the way up to 50. I need to remember to reset my kills after this match.
Well, but I would say, especially, probably the audience can also agree with us, these are the matches that we do like to see more. Maybe it's not the best match for the participants, though I would risk saying that they also enjoy it more. But the more deaths we see, the more exciting it is, as always.
Some people enjoy it, and some people don't enjoy it. But I think I would say the majority of people prefer this patch and more kills to how tanky things and like slow and executed they were previously. But it is a big change. It's so hard to say. Okay, so we do get the M4 and the Brogan team. They're taking so much damage. We do get the Rampage drop from Rathra, harassing Brogan, but they'll have to swap there. They cannot kill through that Morale 4. But Duster is kind of sitting here in a big pile, so these Slayers are just looking for an opportunity to walk in here, get all their IDs up, and pump out so much damage. Now, I would like to hear some Order opinions on how they feel about the new staggering impact change, because we have not had staggering impact used frequently on Order for years, and finally we have it back.
Well, I know at least one Knight of the Blazing Sun in the community, a certain French gentleman who is probably very happy about that change.
Yes, and I did PM him as soon as I saw the patch notes, and he was indeed very happy. But I think he said that he doesn't think his guild appreciates the skill as much as he does, which is unfortunate.
And again, now we're seeing pretty much all the groups blobbing up in one point, and that is the moment that we were talking about, is when it gets really scary.
Oh, the Choppa M4 from Brogan team, they have to punt out memory. Brogan is getting denied every single time they push this button. I think maybe he's just broadcasting it a little bit too much. He should lead with aggression ahead of time, then do a fast swap with the M4. I think that'd be a lot better. I think it's failure. I'm standing inside these people. I need to move, not disturb this fight. Brogan is just on the edge, and they're just chasing healers on the outside. Okay, Ialias taking a lot of damage. They double Divine Protection. They use both healer morales on Ialias. That party can get punished very easily now. It's 2 morales down. Meanwhile, Nash is bullying up on some poor Sham or Zealot over here.
Again,
Niang X.
Poor Niang, the same Zealot, unfortunately. Very stressful match for him.
He's getting a lot of cross heals from his team though, so he's feeling pretty spoiled at the moment. They do get the res on Insane. Poor Insane, I think Insane might just be a little bit under geared. I'll check after this match what kind of gear this poor fellow is in, but he is having a difficult time surviving against this damage.
Also, we can
Let me
see
see
Nash
where.
here focusing on a shaman this time around, with not so much success. So the teams are just dancing and circling currently. For everyone in the chat, the
really
giveaway
think
has already ended. Excuse me. We will probably start another giveaway after this match, but for now, it is not on.
I would really like to see a lot more Champs Challenge, especially from these single target teams. A lot of the reasons that these healers are not dying is simply because they're allowed to move. If you get up to them in
You
Champs
just jinxed
Challenge,
that. The poor shaman is.
well, the second attempt, I guess, is the miracle they needed to get that kill. But we do see some morale force here from the Destro side as a reaction. That's probably going to stop any big snowball effect. I could be wrong. It seems like a lot of the times when I speak, I end up being wrong here. But so much pressure on Insane. They didn't numb him, the staggering impact, but he's just in there tanking it, pumping out that melee swing damage. No shatter limbs on him. So he is just having a happy time pumping out a lot of damage. All these order healers, again, free casting. There's an order M4 in the Mr. Mojo team. I think that's probably the Slayer team.
We do see a lot of players down every now and then, like, they're constantly dropping. What is the kill count currently? And we still have one Destruction Shaman down. I'm actually starting to think if that's a spectator or not. No! Look, we just witnessed they are being constantly denied by the Witch Hunter, but I think they just got revived in time.
That is, if that Witch Hunter can get that 2-second cast off after a kill, you cannot res that target for 30 seconds, which is a big playmaking opportunity. Unfortunately, they cannot. Oh wait, but on the other hand, we have Claw here pulling another shotgun maneuver on a Rune Priest. Again, kill here. So low on HP, 15%, 12%, 20%, 19, 28, 31.
No, and they did get protected by, I think, was it an AoE punt there? That was a fantastic one if it was.
We do see an AoE punt, protection inside his blood, and the double pot. So if they go for him again in the near future, they might ride him. They know he double potted. He doesn't have much left to survive, but I think he has Grimmer Shield. Meanwhile, Bakanoko, 20%, 15%. This poor Black Orc is just struggling to survive his guard damage. He might just fall over dead.
They had to use the M4. Their health was nowhere.
He's being chased out as he's just gonna die. Like but he's living. They're wasting so much damage into him. He's channeling block. Oh, please swap targets. No, you cannot commit to this. So now on the other hand, they're counter pressure on Nut, who now has to use Root Break. Does get the magical infusion. This is so many tools being used. Another M4 on the destruction side. If either of these teams do anything big here in the next 30 seconds, this could be match ending. And so I'm trying to watch. It seems like Destruction is taking pretty heavy damage here, but Claw playing on the outside. He knows a lot of crazy stuff happened, so he's probably not in the safest moment. Another M4 used by the Nash team over here, or actually no, the Brogan team over here, Memory. So I think Destro is probably at a little bit of a disadvantage here as far as tools are concerned. So let's see if Order is able to manipulate this and get an advantage off of it.
This is an exciting match, I have to say.
Kaprowski walks in. Look at Kaprowski. 2%, 0% dead. He literally jumps in. 100%, 10% dead. So we do see a late M4 used there by the Destruction team. I think that's the Saigon team. A little bit late on the M4 there. Capra does get rezzed, I think. Yeah, he's recovered. A little bit sad about that death, but that's okay. Now, Contestion can go ahead, Hasmi.
A big counter pressure on the Order there, but it seems like they are recovering from it. So I'm checking over to Brogan, who is once again dueling with the other single target group, but it seems not much is happening there. We might just see another merge of all the three groups.
Brogan is getting into the AoE team. They are on Kong Bright. The Bright Wizard do have Choppa M4. What is the reason for this big play on Kong Bright? He's taking so much damage. There's the Talon. The Talon was so late. Oh, if that Talon was when they had first connected, that could have been a kill. But they instantly swap. This is good. They're on Mr. Mojo. You need to do these. But it's Claw who makes the swap, not Brogan. Brogan is over here with this 12-man trying to punish Mr. Mojo. Good. It's a double guard on him, though. So if Brogan can in turn, or Yui, excuse me, provide any damage on the DPS, this could result in a kill, but the guard swaps have been achieved again. So the big thing about this is if you're keeping the Order tanks swapping their guards with all their GCDs, they can't push their other buttons. So it's almost like keeping the tanks out of the fight in a way if you can do these fast swaps. So more of that, please.
And we are seeing some beautiful play from tanks. Like tanks, being a tank is, excuse me, very stressful and in big fights, obviously they have tremendous amount of pressure and responsibility on them, and once again seeing some of these beautiful plays that you don't really see in normal RVR that much, especially timed AoE punts. It's just fantastic to see, and it's beautiful.
Now, AoE punts are usually a big no-no because you're handing out multiple immunities. So what we're usually going to see here is we're going to see single target punts on tanks because they want to get that guy out of guard range of his DPS so they can do a fast burst kill. We do see a Talon here on who's this Archmage on the ground here. Another AoE punch from, I think, Alda Polda is our AoE punt enjoyer. But Zazu does live, and that is a Talon they wasted. But they're returning pressure onto the Order AoE team here. I think they really want to kill this Bright Wizard. No, it's Rathra, actually. Rathra taking so much damage, but he is living just fine here. They did commit a drop to Basha on him. He's probably kiting that out, waiting for it up to end. Now he's going back in. He knows he has that ridiculous parry chance back, so he's pretty safe back in the melee ball. But I do wonder how the Bright Wizard's doing. The Bright Wizard positioning is very interesting because you have to play a little bit behind the Slayers because you don't have all that parry chance or the extra armor when you detaunt on the Bright Wizard, so you have to have very good positioning. They do punt him out, though. So he now has double immunities. He can play pretty safely. We do see another M4 on the Dissolution squad. I see Dolby has the M4, so that indicates that's Dissolution to use the M4. Bakanoko, again, just melting. Every time I check on this poor Black Orc, and he has to morale 4. Every time I check on this poor fellow, he's just at such low HP.
Well, that's the Black Orc life.
It kind of is, because the Black Orc, you build block. You can get a lot of block, but then if you get numbed, you just, all that block's gone. You just take way too much damage.
How do you feel the removal, well, the replacement of what has affected Black Orcs? Do you think Black Orcs in these fights, for example, were using that skill, which is a very powerful ability?
It used to be common on Sword and Board, which is what you're going to see in these fights, but it became less common because the Black Orcs were given a really useful 13-point ability in their mid tree. So the Black Orc meta build was to go 13 points mid and right tree to get all the group utility, and then just rely on your passive block or perhaps pick up the block channel instead of using UWAT. But a UWAT Sword and Board Black Orc was very, very difficult to kill. But in the terms of two-handed tanks, though, Black Orcs lost a lot of defense. They lost almost all their defense, and they're left in an awkward spot because the parry tactic was put in the middle tree for Black Orc. So the quote-unquote meta build for two-handed Black Orc, which has the highest utility, does not have access to that parry tactic and is very squishy. So alongside Cobbs, Black Orc is the only two-handed tank that does not have any kind of defensive tools. So they have to stack a lot of parry and sometimes even some armor.
And meanwhile, you could very much see that Destruction was once again forced to use their M4s. They were getting massive pressure from the AoE groups, and they still are.
I like Nash playing on the side here. I think he's trying to keep his pet alive more than himself. Let me see. Yeah, Nick's here. Poor pet. But they are staying alive there. That is some big M4 here is on a Destro team. Let me check memory. I still don't think he's refreshed his armor potion. So he's going to be taking a lot of extra damage that could be prevented if he had a armor potion on. So another morale 4 there. And it's a little bit stagnant here. That's order kills have gone up a little bit, but both sides are being super defensive. I'm guessing that they're really starting to hit a point of fatigue here. Even me, I wouldn't mind a sandwich now just from casting this event. I'm sure it's terribly exhausting to be inside here, making decisions and trying to survive.
And we were definitely having the easier time around here, just enjoying looking at these fights. But just trying to see what's happening in itself is exhausting.
Every time I glance back, I just see another morale 4 one of these groups. So Kerpo does have a double Bellow on him, and then a Witch Elf M3. So that Witch Elf M3, it did not get a kill, but they forced out 2 Bellows from the Order side. So now again, that's 2 tank morales that are gone. If they can do anything with this situation and get some value here, that'd be fantastic.
Well, I'm not sure. So, I'm constantly trying to follow Kapravsky and Bakonki. Bakoneko, excuse me. It's hard to read the names as we're moving around. But yeah, the poor Black Orc and his partner has been just on half health constantly. Again, Kapravsky is being pressured.
See, now I do like that Brogan and Nash are somewhat ignoring each other. They're trying to help their sides get value rather than play defensively and peel each other's teams. And we do just see the AoE teams just bashing into each other. I'm not sure what we're waiting for here. This might be Destro trying to wait for a big M4 drop with the Choppas.
Well, they're just
So I'm
focusing
gonna.
down Pungabo, who is extremely low, just dancing around 10%, but he is down.
Oh, we
so
do.
we can
Yes,
see what
you're right. We
happens
see it.
next.
Another shotgun dissolution play. They've been so successful with these, just rushing at these healers who are a little bit mid-range, trying to get those greedy group heals off, and they just get blitzed by 12 people and instantly die, or almost instantly die.
But it doesn't look like they could capitalize on this one. Unfortunately, they couldn't go into the same train they were trying to do earlier.
I just see a lot of inevitable dooms floating around in this pile. The HP is not going up. I think Yui here, Yui does die.
Absolutely went down.
A grievous harm was used to secure the kill there. So as a reminder, the Order Slayer comp, they are playing short temper and auto attack haste. So if they sit in red, both their AoE and especially their single target damage can be devastating. So if any target in here gets low on destruction side, you could see a Slayer M3, 1800 damage, boom, instant death. So they're trying to avoid being on low HP, which is a difficult thing to do against Slayers.
Easy to say. Even our poor Black Orc is unable to manage to stay on, on maximum health.
I feel bad for any tank who has to interact with Slayers.
Massive
Even after the
focus on
Rampage
Brogan.
nerf. Yeah, Brogan tends to get a lot of attention. We do see the numb on him, but they react with the M4. He is just fine.
It seems
These Order healers...
both teams have used an M4 there, and another one from Order.
Pungabo does get a lot of support there. They get an M4, a healer M3, and a magical infusion on Pungabo. That's a lot of tools. So Brogan's at least getting some value. He's not getting the kills, but it is value. Now Ialias looks so good. The Talon as well. This is a play I like to see. The Talon as we connect right after they use all those heal tools, but now there's the puddle, and they're struggling to reconnect, and his team is peeling for him as well. The Rathra and the Bright Wizard are sitting on Brogan, and Nuggets pointed out. So meanwhile, this is kind of almost a 6v12 over here. So obviously Clue might be getting some big value over here dealing with Nash, but not quite. It's a little stagnant back and forth and not too many tools used.
And unfortunately, while Nash might have had a little success there, Pungabo is being bursted again, but it seems they're protecting him really nicely. On the other hand, Brogan's single target group was struggling somewhat, and they did have to retreat. His memory almost went down.
And we're just seeing, again, just a few Order kills here and there interspersed, not too much from Destro. Destro has kind of lost the aggression. I think that Order has just done a good job of covering the weaknesses that Destruction was exploiting, and Destruction's having a difficult time finding new weaknesses to exploit. So, but again, they do have a few win conditions. If they get to these Choppa M4s, they do some damage ahead of time, and force out some defensive tools, and then into a Choppa M4 on the blob, they could instantly sweep the fight. But we have not yet seen that in either of these two games. A lot of Order healers free casting again. I want to see some more aggression from Destro. Another Destro M4 on the Faller squad. I think this is the Dissolution squad. Or I think he's in group with Insane, the Squig Herder. Oh, big burst on Ialias there. He does catch the meaty end of the Yahweh Bloodlord axe, but he does live just fine.
And they did try to get Nash Dragon down, but that team was forced to use their M4, and now they're trying to recover. But it doesn't look like... No, okay, they just gave up on that target. And let's see who's going to be the next target for Destruction.
I think inadvertently it may be Nyx the White Lion, which yes, the poor War Lion has fallen again. A lot of interspersed attempts on these healers. Though we have not seen an attempt on Zazu in a while, who was a popular target.
Definitely not.
Recently.
Just now we could see there was an attempt to AoE burst down the Order groups, but we've seen the defensive M4 because the three Destruction teams did combine once again, so they were forced to get separated.
Mr. Mojo here, they did use a morale forward. Brogan's got a good connection on him with both DPS. Both tanks are here to peel for him, so he is making some moves. We need some tank snares here, boys. And they just take so much damage in return. They have to use their morale 4 on the Destruction side in order to simply stay on the target. I think their Witch Elf might be a little bit too squishy, but they are managing to keep them alive for the moment. And we do see at least the M2 and the Magical Infusion used on Mr. Mojo. We got some tool exchange there. Flyclaw kiting on the edges again, staying out. Bellows ending on him. He might be conserving AP, staying for another burst. But yes, they are going back on Mr. Mojo. This is a smart play. They just used all the tools on Mr. Mojo. So if they get a clean knockdown here, which they did, with all the DPS connecting, we might see a kill here. There's the Funnel Essence blasted into him. We do have double guard. He is cutting around just fine. I think we're late on the armor debuff there, which is unfortunate, but then a fast swap onto Ayalius. This kill would be huge if they get the Ayalius kill. 24%, 1% HP, 20, 30, AoE punch used. That's a desperation tool. And the M4 on the destruction team, we don't want to commit for this. He's getting cross healed by every healer in here, though. Meanwhile, what is Order doing? They're chasing healers a little bit as well at the same time. Ayalius will make it out. And this looks like a slight micro reset here. A lot of M4s used, but we get a reset with that may have been a. I think that was a 30-minute timeout.
Oh, there we go.
That should be
very interesting. Very interesting.
That should be an Order victory for that one.
Do you have the kill numbers potentially? That was, I don't know Uchoo. I have no idea how Alias got out of there. Like, I swear, that bar was empty.
If you have a smart build on a healer, you got a lot of armor and a lot of anti-crits, and you hit that AoE taunt, even in that light armor, you can feel pretty tanky. And then some good tank support there, a lot of cross heals and bubbles. Sometimes when their HP isn't moving, it's just the absorbs. And if there's a lot of absorbs in play, then that can kind of counter a go all by itself, which I think is what we saw there, Hazmi.
And it was a beautiful play nonetheless. But before we go on, since our last winner was extremely generous and Garth did not ask for their 100 gold, it means they have given it into the next giveaway, which means our next giveaway that we're about to start right now is going to be for 200 gold. So let me start it in just a moment. And as you will see the pop-up on the screen, please type a giveaway in chat, which should happen now for a 200 gold giveaway. The two giveaways combined. In either side, whoever wins, you will just have to whisper us your character name, and we will send it out. Now, what happened with this match, Uchoo? Is there going to be a fourth match, you think, or?
I would venture to guess no, because these teams must be getting just exhausted from this pressure at this point.
Oh yes, but that was a beautiful one. What do you think happened there? Were the teams both playing very carefully, or what happened that we did not see the snowballs that were in the second game?
I was tuned into the Brogan stream and the comms were pretty light, which leads me to believe that they were just simply exhausted on both sides, so they just were unable to find good opportunities to go execute some good aggression. So that last, I don't know, 10 minutes of that match were just a little bit of a slog, and I don't blame them at all. I'm hungry just from commentating that.
Yeah, I absolutely do not blame them. It's been a crazy match to see. Once again, congratulations to everyone, because that was a very fun guild versus guild, well, multiple guild versus guilds fight once again, just like last time. And do we know the final score then? Is it a...
Yes. Round one, we had an Order victory via kills, which was a timeout, a 30-minute timeout, and then higher kill team wins, which is Order. Round two was a full wipe on Order by destruction as a result of a shotgun move by Dissolution. Classic, gotta watch out for those. And then round three, same as round one, we had an Order victory on kills and timeout. The 30-minute expired.
In that case, congratulations to Order for the beautiful victory. I think last time it was again an Order victory, was that not? And it was also, excuse me, I'm still a little bit sick. It was very close between the two teams, but once again,
it was very close. But the last half of that match, I think Destruction just lost a lot of their tempo, and they lost a lot of their energy, and then Order just soaked up some passive kills, which put them ahead. So we did have an Order victory again. So 2-1 victory by Order here today.
Yes, congratulations. We've seen some beautiful plays. It was a joy to watch. And how do you feel now, Uchoo, I was really excited to see what's going to be the difference between these matches. Did you notice anything major? Well, I mean, at this point, that is a dumb question. We did see health bars were flying all over the place. It's
I feel like both teams were just a little bit surprised at the damage output, and like you said, there's so many health bars spiking, so many morale fours thrown around like crazy that it's kind of hard to tabulate all that in your head as it happens. Even for me, and I'm a very experienced player, simply watching, I'm not even playing. I can't even keep track of everything being used. So there were a few times where I think Clacklaw noticed they dumped a lot of tools into one target, so then he went for that target again when their immunities came back up, and that was a good play. And there's a few times where he initiated some of his classy shotgun maneuvers, which we talked about, which did lead to their victory in round 2. So I think Dissolution were definitely the MVPs of that round if I was to have a vote.
Oh yes, that was beautiful. I've been following them, and it will, of course, everyone. If you did miss this episode, it is going to go on YouTube tonight even, so you will be able to rewatch these games and enjoy them. They've been very popular, which we're super happy about. So we will keep uploading them to YouTube as well. But for those asking, this was on Order side Retribution and Crimson Earth versus on Destruction NGE Dissolution and some FMJ players, if I'm correct.
Yeah, we had an FMJ 6-man on the Destruction side today.
And again, it was beautiful. Absolutely, congratulations to all the teams. But it seems everyone is getting exhausted along with us, so it it is time to end the giveaway. I will give it one more minute. If you did not enter the giveaway, it is for 200 gold. So make sure to enter. If I could, I would. I could use that gold. I don't know about you, Uchoo. You are allowed to enter if you want. I know I am not. But make sure to enter, everyone, as we're going to be closing that soon. And thank you so very much, everyone, for joining for this. If you have any feedback about these events, which are, by the way, completely community made, we are just extremely grateful that we're allowed to follow them and broadcast these. Big thanks to Uchoo as well for helping with commentating, because this is definitely something I would not be able to do alone whatsoever. So thank you very much, Uchoo.
And anytime, happy to be of service to the community. And no, I will not be entering for your gold. You guys can have that. I have plenty of my own.
But yeah, like I said, if we're allowed to, we will keep broadcasting these. We also do want to do more Round Watch in the future as well. Not just these, but normal Round Watch episodes like we used to. And with that said, tomorrow, since our Tier 1 leveling event will start with double renown, and surprise, because this has not been announced yet, double crests as well. So both double renown, double crests happening in Tier 1 only.
Oh, I was going to ask that just for Tier 1? Okay.
Yes, it is just for Tier 1 at the moment. It is going to be a massive new player event. We're also getting big 12 War Warhammer streamers checking out the game. It's going to be super fun. We have just reworked the download and installation page for the website, which has been attracting some articles and lots of attention on social media. So we're expecting a very fun and super exciting weekend. Definitely a great time to return to the game and also to just start a new character. So we encourage everyone to do that. And with that said, we are closing the giveaway right now. And let's see who is the winner of the 200 gold, to whom we will send out the gold somewhere or sometime tonight or tomorrow. We'll see. But let us check it out. And the winner is Rishara. It is our dear Rishara from Entropy and Chaos. Congratulations for winning it. Of course, we are unfortunately unable to do another giveaway, so it is going to be up to you. If you accept the 200 gold prize here, but after that, you can also gift it to whoever would you like. Just make sure to DM me on Discord or whisper me here on Twitch, but congratulations there. And with that said, Uchoo, once again, thank you so much for being here and helping. And since you are also doing this as a complete volunteer, please tell us about yourself, just a few sentences, and feel free to also plug yourself.
Hi, I'm Uchoo. I'm the guy who makes the Roar Guide that more and more of you are enjoying. You can find it on the forums pretty easy, and I make some Roar YouTube content. Just look for Uchoo Gaming on YouTube, and you'll find me, and probably some fun Roar memes you'll enjoy.
Yes, absolutely. Do make sure to give Uchoo a follow, and also check out his guide. It is fantastic. I think you're still working on the destruction side characters. Am I right about that?
I have one class left to finish on Order, and then I start Destruction. But I've been very busy because we have the new ranked season come out, which I've been blasting pretty hard. So yeah.
How do you enjoy the current ranked season?
It's fun. There's mixed opinions on it, but I will say it's chaotic and fun. I think people would generally agree on that.
Yes, the season has been popping off, so we are happy to see that. But with that said, Uchoo, I know you're super hungry. I will let I will let you eat and enjoy your ranked as well. Everyone, that was the second episode of the mid-tier league from the community. It was an 18 versus 18 between Order and Destruction. Hope you did enjoy it. We will be uploading this episode on YouTube tonight, so make sure to check that out. Hope you will enjoy it. And we're actually going to be back with Round Watch tomorrow in NA time. Emissary from Return of Reckoning Community Management will be broadcasting Round Watch for our NA community, so do make sure to check it out. But we're also going to be advertising that and announce that in the Roar Discord. But with that said, everyone, thank you very much for joining. That was our second episode of Round Watch. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all the next time. Bye-bye.